Often, when it comes to photography, I like to challenge myself. So, not too long ago I asked a question. What phone, from the old days, would you like me to try that could be really interesting in terms of photography? And someone mentioned a phone I never heard about. The Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1. It's a bit of an odd name. But this is really an interesting phone. And it can take amazing pictures. So here we are at the Veluwe. I will showcase it here, but also some other locations. Let's find out what this Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1 can do. And it can even compete with some 2024 phones. Now the interesting thing about the Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1 is that it comes with a 1-inch sensor. And for those who follow me on Instagram, link in the description, have already seen some shots that I've taken with this phone. And again, it's really impressive. Now when it comes to shots, I look around me and see the potential. It's either contrast, it could be a scenery or something that stands out. For instance, this tree right here really stands out. And we're going to take some shots of that one. But also, for instance, this right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I really like the texture on it. The contrast between, of course, the darker green and the lighter green. I can take a really good shot of that. So let me do a point of view so you can see what I'm on about. Now there are some issues with the Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1, and it's definitely that the display isn't very bright. So I'm gonna try to do my best to create as little as reflection on the screen itself. Interesting fact also is that part right there, I cannot point at it, but you can see it is moving for the focus point, which is actually quite cool. So we're gonna start with a shot right here. Just a little bit with the tree in the background and a little bit of composition with this is to the left side of the picture again. I try to capture something that is focusing on just one point, or something that allows me to create a contrast. For instance, those flowers, I can use that to create a contrast against this tree right here. This angle, probably here, right here. Sit a little bit lower, because then I can actually see what's on this display, although you can probably not. And then that's how I take the picture. Can even try a little bit of this. We have a little bit of a branch in front of it. Let's see if I can get that in there. Now again, this phone does come with a green tint. So pictures that I've taken on the Panasonic are pictures that I'm going to edit to remove the green, but also give a certain style to it. Photography isn't always about also having the best hardware, because while this doesn't have the processing of modern phones, that can definitely be in a benefit. For instance, sharpening can be too much on some phones. The Xiaomi 14 Ultra suffers from that from time to time. It's a little bit inconsistent with that. But when it comes to having those images really sharpened, it removes from me detail instead of adding it, and it just doesn't look natural. Therefore, I would say phones like this, where it doesn't suffer from that kind of extra algorithm that tries to create the best shot possible, it's in the benefit of a phone like this. Especially when it comes with a 1-inch sensor. That definitely wasn't something that was normal for phones back then. Now again, looking at contrast, for instance, now the downside for this phone is, of course, it doesn't have zoom. It's a 27 or 28 millimeters equivalent. What I can do is create like this road that you see right here, this paved road with sand and whatnot. I can create a shot where it leads towards that tree and create like an illusion of it being connected with that tree. Let's see, like so. Let's see if I can focus on the screen itself. There we go. And then create that illusion. Again, for composition, I put it a little bit to the right, just to give a little bit more of an appeal to the shot itself. I shoot in RAW and JPEG on the phone itself, because it does support that. And then I edit it afterwards. Most of the time I edit RAW, but sometimes the RAW is a little bit soft and not on. Now in general, this kind of photography trip to the Veluwe, it's not going to create a lot of shots, because again, this is a place I've been to quite a bit, but it is a good way to showcase my story without feeling like I am in people's way, they need to avoid me or anything like that because I'm shooting something. But this is a good way to showcase how I approach my photography, especially on a phone like this. And again, I want to go down to that dynamic range, for instance, right? On modern phones, it's not really an issue. Clouds are clearly visible, sun behind it, that's fine. But this phone, of course, doesn't have that same processing when it comes to the dynamic range. And that's in its benefit sometimes, because again, you can create a certain atmosphere on a shot that you cannot create when it comes to a lot of modern phones. Flaws can create amazing shots. You just need to find the right flaws at the right angle. So it really depends on, of course, the shot itself. But look at this shot, for instance, where the dynamic range wasn't great. But still, it added something to the feel of the shot for me. Tip when it comes to this phone, sometimes having the flash on is a benefit. It creates a focus more on the flower itself. So taking flower shots with this phone, the flash can be a benefit. Here's a great example. Modern phone won't struggle with the dynamic range. This phone, however, will struggle with it. So this will create like a dark silhouette of the shot itself, which again can be really good for the shot itself. So I have a rule for myself when it comes to photography. I like to challenge myself, explore, showcase different situations, different locations, and that's kind of what I want to do when it comes to my channel and the photography side of it. And this phone makes me want to do all that, and that's a good thing. A camera should inspire you to create different shots. It should inspire you to go out there and capture your moments. And even then, your normal walking or anything like that, if you see a moment and you want to capture it, that means that you like the camera or the phone, at least the results. If you don't, I feel like you don't like either photography or you don't like the camera or the result that you're getting with it. Either way, let's move to Bellstein and create some shots there. Alright, so I'm at Bellstein and we're gonna find out how a 2014 one instance of phone will perform. And there are some nice sceneries around here. We got this really German styled homes, but also of course we do have the rundown castle. I'm gonna see what I can do with that and how I can get there, because that's gonna be a climb. And we're gonna see how the Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1 is going to perform. Now when it comes to this Panasonic Lumix, as you can tell, it's quite clean. Don't know if it was like that standard, but should be fine after editing. This glass create a really nice contrast. Again, the phone itself is a little bit green when it comes to the shots, but based on previous experience with it, it edited it out pretty nicely. So we'll see, and even with RAW I could get some of the details back in the sky, though there isn't much details at the moment to begin with. It's a little bit cloudy, starting to rain.
At the end, the Panasonic Lumix DMC-CM1 is a fun, nifty phone you can create some really nice shots with, that have amazing style as well. The lack of over-processing allows a shot to feel more natural and also makes the result more fun. It also allows me to be challenged by a phone to try and see different effects like overexposure and see how I can work it into the shot itself and make it work for the shot. And the same goes for the dynamic range. Sure, this isn't a phone that I would recommend for day-to-day use, because at the end it is on Android 5 and it's simply an old phone with pretty slow performance. But if you want to challenge yourself and still get amazing results out of a 2014 phone, this is one of those that is amazing for the time. And when it comes to flower shots, it can still show 2024 phones how it's properly done. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you thought of the approach of the video, and of course don't forget to like, subscribe and everything if you aren't yet. Man, this was good fun playing around with this one.